Morning. No, seriously, good morning. So, first, I have man voice in the mornings when I wake up. So sorry. Secondly, I have bedhead. Thirdly, room's a mess. But again, it's my bed and it's early as hell in the morning. And so I just wanted to come through and give a good word, right? So I deal with like anxiety and major depression, even. I see a therapist, meds, all that. But let me tell you something about me. I still vibrate on such a high level. And you know why? Because the one thing that sex work could not change about me ever was my good heart, my good nature, and love that I have in my heart. So, a little bit of my backstory. I'm not going to pretend my life's perfect or was, because it certainly was not. But I will say, my childhood, other than my mom and dad not raising me, my mom was more like a big sister, her mother raised me. But I will say this, my grandparents were pretty well off. I had a pretty nice childhood. I had a safe childhood. I had a childhood where until my teenage mouth started getting in the way, was full of love and hugs and affection. I was truly the princess of the castle. Okay. So I'm not gonna say I had a horrible childhood because I did not. And um my life choices and things I went through did not give my kids that same experience, my older ones, okay? And I own that. But what I will say to you is that I'm a person of love. I'm a person who of empathy. I'm a person who, even though I was a sex worker, and I always almost say still am, because in my heart I will always be. You don't do something for 20 years and then not become a very part of the fiber of your being. Um, Even when I talk to my husband, he knows that I will always identify as a sex worker, even though I am not actively doing sex work. Although my husband has no issue with me selling photos or anything else I want to do, I just right now don't have the space in my life to do any of it. I also would like you guys to know my husband and I were together 15 years before we got married. My husband met me many years ago as one of my foot fetish clients. Um, he loves feet and he still does. And it took us years to get to a place where we were able to evolve. It also took me making him understand I'm not going to be a forever girlfriend. That's not who I am. Again, as I say, even to my customers, I'm big on respect. And it's not that he didn't respect me. It's just that marriage isn't a big deal in his family, but in mine it is. And so for me, I wasn't going to do it. This is my second marriage. So let me be abundantly clear as to why I feel the way I feel about the mentorship fees and everything else, and why I don't believe. I'm sorry. I did that shit for 20 years, and I'm 53 years old, and I'm still not as jaded as a lot of you are. And that in itself is sad. And y'all don't understand. I don't know what you've been through. I haven't walked a mile in your shoes, nor have you walked a mile in mine. I'm not going to pretend to know what you've been through. But what I do know is no matter what you've been through and no matter what your occupation is, you should still have a place in your heart for kindness and empathy. And that is what endeared so many girls and other companions of all genders to me. That is why I have always had the respect of the community, other than the cutthroaters who were here in Atlanta who didn't like how kind I was, who didn't like that I wasn't out to act like a shark or a carnivore and eat up everybody else. I was always concerned with taking care of my family financially. My family. I wasn't concerned with being able to brag about anything. And I might come across a little boastful, but that's because I'm proud of my accomplishments, but not because I'm chasing clout. Honey, I'm too old to care about clout. And again, my youth was so wonderful, to be completely honest. that had we have had Instagram and Twitter back then, I'd have probably been a, like an influencer. That's how great my life was when I was younger. Until I made certain decisions and certain mistakes along the way that changed the trajectory of it. I own that too. But I had a good life. And I even at my worst had a good life. Even during the times when me and my kids at the hotel, please understand I still had a good life. Because you know what? This is what therapy's taught me. And this is what my faith taught me. And yes, you can be a sex worker and still have your faith in your spirituality. What it taught me was, first of all, it's not any human beings right on this planet to judge me. Only my maker, creator, or whatever you believe in can judge me. Okay. Secondly, it was that fundamentally speaking, I want to treat other people the way I want to be treated because my grandmother instilled that in me. And my grandmother taught me something that a lot of you young ladies don't get. You can be pretty as you want to on the outside. You can spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on plastic surgery, but you know what? If your heart's not pretty and your soul's not pretty, it's still ugly. And my grandmother taught me that, and it resonated with me so much. And one of the things that my husband said, and we do not have a perfect marriage. We've never even had a perfect relationship, but it's perfect for us. It works for us. And by the way, that's the guy who he and I are. So Taken by Storm is my business, but he is the one who on the bigger projects, the straight from code projects, does most of the work. I am creative design on those projects. He is the person who executes. And I also do sites also, of course, because it's my baby. But when it comes to the really intricate ones, the ones that take more, he's your guy. So say thank you to my husband. And he says, you're welcome. But at any rate, I need you guys to understand something. One of the things he's always loved about me, even when he can't stand me, is my heart. One of the things other companions have always loved about me, even when they can't stand me, is my heart and my genuineness and the fact that I'm going to tell the truth. The point I was trying to make earlier was I don't know why some of you are so jaded. Just because, like my grandmother used to tell me, if everybody else jumps off the building to their death, would you follow them just to be like them? Hmm? Why do some of you think the only way to survive and thrive in sex work is to be cutthroat and nasty? I don't know if some of you started with agencies or pimps, and that's where you got that thinking. But it's very saddening to those of us who know what it used to be and what it still can be, because you don't have to take advantage of another sex worker or tear her game down or be ruthless in your competition to the point where you lose your humanity just to make a dollar. What I learned in therapy, I was about to touch on earlier, is did you know they've done studies and money is only 10% of human wealth and happiness? Because the real wealth comes from the relationships you build with people. The real wealth comes from the love you build with people. The real love comes from self love and the respect you have for yourself. I know we all need money. Who doesn't know that? I like to shop. I like the vacation. I like to splurge as much as the next person. But those things will never come first to me prior to loving and respecting other human beings. Simply won't happen with me. And when people used to ask me, how did I survive in sex work so long? How did I do it so long? I'll tell you, it's because I never lost me. I was Storm during her designated hours, and I was Shar, the real me, during my other hours. And even when I was seeing my now husband, there was a certain point of the day when I would turn my phone off unless I had some money I had to make. in which case he understood. But I always put my personal relationships ahead of the money. And I know some people are like, oh my God, no, you can't do that. I did it and I still made my money. Did I have moments where I struggled? Yes. But let me tell you something about these Twitter girls y'all are watching pretend like, or Xer girls, because I don't even know what to call it anymore, who were pretending like their shit don't stink and like everything is perfect about them. I always, when I mentor girls who feel some type of way after seeing other girls' social media, I always tell them, believe half of what you hear and even less of what you see. Because a lot of it is smoke and mirrors. Companions other than me, who was always very honest, and also that endeared guys to me too. My honesty about who I was. I never tried to be a character. I was always just me. So when people pretend that their whole life is great and they're on private jets and have Louboutins and all these things 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, I'm not saying they don't have them. I'm just saying they cry just like you do. I'm just saying they have hard times just like you do. I'm just saying they have depression just like you do. I'm not saying they don't have the nice things. Not at all. And there's nothing wrong with having nice things. There's nothing wrong with body modification. There's nothing wrong with your plastic surgery. There's nothing wrong with those things as long as you remain a decent person. There's nothing wrong with those things. I'm not a hater. Shit, get your body work done, sis. Get everything done you want to get done. Buy as many pairs of shoes as you want to. I'm gonna tell you something. My children sometimes say I'm a hoarder. I'm like, no, I'm not a hoarder. Because first of all, by the way, guys, house doesn't look like an episode of Hoarders. You can walk through it. I will say I don't have enough closet space for the amount of shit I have. And I'm honest about that. But you know what? I love fashion. That's not stopping. I went to college to be a fashion designer when I was much younger. I've always loved fashion. At the age of 12, I had a subscription to Vogue magazine, okay? It's not changing. I love clothes. And for any city I think I might vacation to, I have a wardrobe already just for it. And so I have a few more people staying with me now than I used to. I used to have one room in this house that was strictly my closet. I can't use it to its full capacity right now because one of my retired sex work friends, who's also my bestie, this is how open my heart is and and the person I am. She needed somewhere to stay. She's been here now, I don't know, 5 or 6 months. She helps me with what she can, but I don't put any requirements on her. There's no financial requirement from her because she's a decent person. And we've been best friends for years. And I know she's going to do what she can to help my household. But I'm not going to be a bitch to her and make any demands of her. Because you know what? I'm going to get it back. I'm paying it forward. And the universe, God, whatever you believe in, is going to bless me always. That's the person I am. So when I see other people being taken advantage of, and we're not talking about doing mentorship for absolutely free, but we're talking about charging fees for mentorship that are crazy. And I'm not going to say anything other than that. I'm going to continue to say it's crazy. We're talking about teaching young ladies who are coming into this business or any other gender or gender fluid person that's coming into sex work that everybody's a cunt, that everybody's mean, that everybody's nasty, and that no one's going to welcome them. I said it before and I say it again. It gives I'm scared of competition. Why are you scared of competition if you're so much the shit? Why are you scared of competition if you're so much the shit? That makes sense. I was never scared of competition, still not. You want to compete? Let's do it. Tell me when, where, and the time. That's how I am about everything. But I'm equally kind. There is nothing wrong with being kind. And whoever taught, the only people to me that I know that teach that sex work has to be cutthroat, mean, and ruthless are agencies and pimps. And not all agencies, by the way, because I actually worked for an agency for 3 years as an assistant. And I still work for them on retainer for their web design stuff. I am not saying all agencies are bad, they are not. But that is a female run agency, also. I much prefer female run agencies. I am totally against male run agencies, male run sex services of any type because they're taking advantage of y'all. Y'all are so busy trying to take advantage of each other that you don't even see who's taking real advantage of you. And that's the truth. But it costs you nothing to be kind. It costs you nothing to be humane. Some of y'all lose your shit when somebody's mean to an animal, but you won't lift a finger to help another sex worker. You'll step over and laugh at a homeless person and call him a bum. No, no, no. If you're gonna be kind to every living creature on this planet, unless it's trying to do you harm. Now, if something or someone's trying to do you harm, that's different. But that's not usually what I see with y'all. What are y'all so angry at? And again, I don't begin to understand, nor do I begin to say I understand everybody's life and what they come from. I never could say that. Maybe you came from real pain. Maybe you came from real suffering. I get it. But part of being a survivor is not continue to let that shit live rent free in your head. You know? Part of that is letting go of it, getting the help you need to let go of it, and not inflicting that on other people around you. Just because you went through something, just because the business was cutthroat when you came into it, doesn't mean the next person you meet who comes to you for help deserves for you to treat them the way you were treated. Come on, y'all. Y'all know better than that. Y'all know better than that. I hope you do. I don't know. Do you? But I hope you do. But I just wanted to give more of a backstory of who I am because I get that some of the people who are commenting and talking to me have no idea who I am because I've been retired 4 years. You have no idea who I am. You might have heard little bits and pieces from here and there, and half the people you're probably hearing it from don't even really know who I am because a lot of the people who do remember, a lot of them retired too because of what the industry turned into. The industry turned into a bunch of jaded, nasty acting, mean, no sense of community people. Y'all don't care about keeping each other safe. Y'all don't care what happens to the other girl or the other gender companion at all. So long as you make your money. And that's sick. I I'm sorry. It's sick. Doesn't make sense. Because you could find yourself one day in a position where someone needs to rescue you, and that someone who needs to rescue you may be another companion. And I don't think y'all think about that. Things don't always stay the same. Just because you're at the top of whatever today doesn't mean that you can't fall hard by tomorrow. It doesn't mean that you can't find yourself on the other end of a gun barrel or a rapist. You don't know who you're going to need. You don't know who you're going to need. And because you don't know who you're going to need, maybe you should operate from a place of a little more compassion and humility. Maybe you should operate from a place of humility and compassion. There's nothing wrong with it, you know? I'm just saying. I'm sorry for some of y'all if bad things happen. And I mean that. I'm not just saying it. I mean that genuinely from my heart. Because I hate to see anyone abused or harmed. I am so sincerely sorry for whatever you may have gone through, whatever you may have endured, whatever brought you to the reasoning that everything has to be cutthroat and ruthless. Everything doesn't have to be. You can be a sex worker without letting it consume you. You can be a sex worker without it becoming all you are. I promise you, I'm proof of it. It didn't become all I was, and I wasn't going to let it because I needed to still have my own identity outside of it. I needed to have my own love and life and smiles outside of it. I'm just saying, make your money, but don't let your money make you. And some of you are doing that. Anyway, peace, love, and blessings. Just a morning talk from someone who's just about seen it all, just about been through it all, and has more life experience than a lot of people have, good, bad, and ugly. And when I tell you something, I'm telling it from real experience. And some of you would do well to try to absorb it. Take care.